Okay, so I managed to get my hands on the STRAFE pre-alpha speed zone thing, and I was thinking, oh, this is a pretty nice view. When's the game gonna start? And then I kind of looked up and went, oh, that's where the game is. So yeah, it's a bit screwed up, just a teeny tiny bit screwed up. So I'm gonna try and get this working again. How do I get out of this? How do I go? Am I trapped? Oh my god! Okay, we finally managed to get ourselves out of that slightly annoying glitch. This is the super broken time attack build of STRAFE. It's an extremely early version of the game. This hasn't even been kickstarted yet, so I imagine that's why this leaked out. Especially considering there's a press $ to fund button. That's not subtle at all, guys. But I'm gathering this is to generate a bit more interest in the game and to get them fully funded and get started on the entire development process. And it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to play for me because I am one of the old guard. I grew up playing Doom. I grew up playing System Shock and Quake 2. So this has a pretty hefty lineage to live up to. And if it's trading on nostalgia of that kind of caliber, it's gonna have to do something special. I'm gonna unfortunately have to stick with the name of Susan69 for the duration of this playthrough because for some reason I can't change my name. But in either case, let us get going, shall we? Now, we have a choice between 3 weapons. We have the machine gun, mid-range, auto-fire. Is pretty tricky when you're emptying a full clip because it gets hideously inaccurate, but it does have a grenade launcher. We've got the railgun, which has a function that's kind of similar to, I think it was the beam rifle out of Unreal Tournament, where it'll fire a plasma ball and you can blow it up and there's this big explosion that I think takes out most of the stuff in the area, but I suck at the railgun. So what we're going to do instead is stick with Mr. Shotgun, Mr. Short Range. And we've got an alternate fire on this baby as well. Short range fire is just, you know, that kind of stuff. As you can see, it spreads out the further away you get. And then you've got the alternate fire, which does that. Which is kind of interesting. I'm not sure quite how much damage that'll inflict per bullet, but interesting enough to test out. You'll notice in the top left, no, the top right-hand corner, that there is a 0% sign. And what that means is I haven't killed anything yet. Jesus Christ, that is a big weapons model. I'm just noticing as I'm going up. Look at that. Jesus, that takes up a lot of the screen. Pretty big chunky weapon models there. I think they take up less if you want to know what's going on. There's a lot of wild movement there, but the left-hand side of the screen is the timer. After that small distraction, and I'm currently doing terribly. I'm not going to go anywhere near the leaderboard, which you can see on screen there. I've tried it before. It's very tricky. You've got to balance getting 90% of the things in the level dead, along with getting there in under 234, which is extremely tricky. Those guys are pretty awesome. I'm not, so screw it. Let's go. So welcome to Icarus, or as the lights say, Iku. And the irony is not lost. That is my pseudonym for the internet, and everything has gone to hell. That guy needs bandages, desperately. And a new head by the looks of it, but less on the comparisons between my life and this horrible shit stain of a station. Let's just go and kill everything. Oh, I do enjoy that geezer. Geezers of blood, they are my favorite. And it's quite chunky, quite pixelated. Quite nice aesthetic. It reminds me, actually, believe it or not, of the original Homeworld in terms of the chunky pixels and the chunky textures. People who have played the original Homeworld will know what I'm on about. And goddamn, jellyfish. Jellyfish are the most irritating frigging enemies in the entire game. And I say that with experience. I have tried to play through this a few times, trying to get a decent playthrough for you guys. Just to show you what it's like, and, oh, Jesus, it's frustrating. Especially with all this puke on the floor, because this happens. You spaz out. You just go, whoa, all over the place. And I've got to say, I think they need to tone down the flinch. Because it is quite irritating to deal with. Another slight irritation with the game is the fact that there is no auto-reload in this, so if you run out of a clip, you're pretty much screwed. You'll just be stood there clicking at nothing. And I'm gonna run out any second now, I'm sure. No, I'm still not running out. Does this thing have infinite ammo? I hope it does, because that'd be pretty awesome. In fact, all the guns should have infinite ammo, if I'm not mistaken. It's just the reload itself. There we go. The reload's just timed out. We can't shoot at anything, so we've got to dodge and then manually reload. And I can see what they're going for there. It's not quite the 90s that I remember. It adds a slight layer of tension to the game in terms of dodging around things and trying to keep yourself alive while reloading. It puts you in a slightly helpless state, which is kind of cool. But it's not exactly melting my face off, if you know what I mean. I'm sure you've seen that advert. Fantastically directed advert. Awesome as hell. Lots of really cool gore effects, especially with the kid's face melting off. But I think, yeah, it's trading a little too heavily on nostalgia and maybe not quite trying to be its own thing. Which I hope it does. I mean, this is a long road. This is only early days in the development process. And as it stands in this basic form, I'm enjoying it. I just hope there's more to it than this. And if I'm feeling, you know, generous with my opinions, I'm sure it will be more varied than this. This won't be the final word on what this game is all about. I'm just hoping that there might be a few more weapons as well. I know that it's kind of nice that each weapon has an alternate fire, but to be honest, I'm not using it all that much with the shotgun. So it feels a little bit redundant. Man, that is a geezer going off down there. And that wasn't even me. You'll notice that enemies don't like each other in this game. They will attempt to kill each other, which is kind of fun. Reminds me of the original Doom, where you trick imps to kind of hit each other in the face, and it just starts off this mini demon civil war, which is always cool. And damn, I'm surrounded by jellyfish. Jellyfish and mutants. It's not a nice combination. Let's get rid of these guys. Where are they? Jellyfish die when they touch you, which is handy, but they also inflict quite a horrible amount of damage. I'm just going to go get some food from this. Get my health back up, because we're going to need it in the next few stages. Now, the levels in this are supposed to be procedurally generated, but from what I can tell in this particular demo, because I've ran through it a fair few times now, it's fixed. There is no variation in this. So, I suppose that makes sense in a speedrunning perspective. I mean, if you had this different every single time, it'd be extremely hard to have a fair leaderboard. And it would make the leaderboard kind of redundant, so I can appreciate that at the very least. But I'll be very interested to see how the algorithm for generating stages comes off. Because from checking out other games that have tried it, like Tower of Guns, it does result in a bit of a hodgepodge, really. It doesn't entirely work. I prefer the kind of carefully designed levels that you used to get, again, with Doom, with Quake 2. So they've got a lot to put themselves up against. They've picked some tough, classic competition. But if they're trading on bluster and bombasticness alone, they're doing a good job of it. They're certainly doing a good job of it. But a slight comment on music, it's getting really annoying. I'm sure it's very faux modern retro. It doesn't strike me as having quite the same feel as classics like Mission 1 Episode 1 in Doom, where they just make MIDI versions of heavy metal songs. That's what I'd appreciate, just a tiny bit more. Oh, damn it. We're up to 86%. We're nearly there. Oh, these goddamn jellyfish will be the death of me. Here we go. We just got to avoid the puke, get rid of that robot ninja, I suppose, and make sure we don't take too many hits from the rest of these guys. Yeah, the spread shot ain't that great. I'm just hoping we end up with cooler stuff. I know the machine gun has a grenade launcher and all that, which is great, but I'm hoping for more outlandish stuff, because all those classic 90s games had really outlandish, crazy weapons, especially Unreal. Oh, jeez. If you played Unreal and you don't know what the flat cannon is, you're missing out. You are seriously missing out. And I think that's something that's kind of faded out in this era of games development. The focus on weaponry doesn't really seem to be at the forefront of it. And you need satisfying weaponry. You need things that feel good to use, that make you go, oh yeah, when you take someone's head off. And I'm hoping that's something they experiment with. I'm hoping that's something they try out. And good grief, that is a really slow opening door. But as you can see, me taking my time here, we're just clocking in under 10 minutes, which is pretty decent for a single level. It does make me wonder how many levels are going for here and how much replayability we'll have with the procedural generation of the levels themselves. But as we can see, I am nowhere near the top of the leaderboard. I did get 98% kills. I don't know where the other 2% are. I've tried to have a look around, I've backtracked, and I've just not been able to find them at all. But apparently that's not the point. Getting up to 90% is crucial for this door to open, otherwise you're just going to be running into it like a moron. And unless you've got under any of those times, though, you're not ending up on the leaderboard. But these are the masters of the speed zone. Rami Bad at the top there, 234, Jesus. He must have drank a lot of coffee, but this has been Strafe Speed Zone, very early Broken Edition. It's encouraging, but I feel like I'll need to see more in order to be truly sold on it. It's certainly fun to blast through, but it feels very, let's say, superficial. It's emulating the mechanics well enough, but I'm hoping I'm going to see a lot more variation, because it's all well and good having a nostalgia trip and trading on nostalgia, but we still need something a little bit new in this day and age, because otherwise I can just go back and play Quake and Quake 2 and forget about Strafe. But hopefully you've enjoyed this. Hopefully this has been slightly enlightening in some way. I have no idea how. This has been Mr. Icarus. Icarus out.